Hey there, welcome back to another episode in the series of Your Opinions Voice. It's a pleasure to be here. Before I forget and say sorry again, how are you guys doing? How have you been? How's it been? What you been up to? How has life been popping? I hope that you're as excited as I am for this video, right? I have a guest with me today. I think this is my first guest, so you guys should join me and do. So I'm going to have her, introduce herself. She already gave me some prompts to whether or not I should introduce her, but she will introduce herself however she chooses.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
My name is Feyi. My name is actually Feyi for me, but because that could be a mouthful, my name is Feyi or Feyi. I'm a recent graduate of computer engineering from Bells University of Technology. I mean, lots of things, so this is a very daunting thing to do. I think I'm a writer. Okay, no, I'm a writer.
She doesn't think.
I'm a writer. And I also have a podcast that I sometimes go there to say some things. What else do I do? That's very much that's a conclusion, I guess. That's who I am.
So it's a pleasure to have Faye here. I was telling her that I invited Faye, not just any random person, right? Faye has a very beautiful thought pattern, beautiful thought flow. That's one of the reasons. It's like I brought you guys some exclusive package, right? So you should just look forward to the end of this video because she said she has a podcast. She writes. You guys can imagine. What could possibly be coming from here. So tune in. This is just me, using the opportunity to say that don't leave this video without watching it to the end and don't fast forward because you're going to miss out on the real deal, right? So it's a pleasure to have you here, Mel.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So we're going to be talking about the journey to self-discovery. It's not an actual topic. It's just so that you guys can get the picture, right? We're talking about self-discovery generally, but it's just a whole process. So run with us. So the first prompt will be: what is your general review, your general opinion about self-discovery?
In general, I think the entire concept of self-discovery is it has a lot of misconceptions, or we like to say false truths about it. People have how they think self-discovery should be. People tell you that, it's a journey where you go and you figure out who you are. But I'm just like, yes, that's what it is, but there are so many other things that are not communicated about what self-discovery could be. For me, basically, let me just join them and say it is a journey, because it actually is a journey. It's something that you have to do almost every single day. But it's basically, I think it's basically coming into who you actually are. There are so many different things that could rid you of your essence, of like your real self, So the concept of self-discovery is moving from a place where you are kind of you are in search of your actual self. So you're moving from wherever could have happened, the conditions that might have made you who you are in this moment. Now you're not like, you know what? Who is me? I've been here for a while. Then, who actually am I? And that's basically what the concept of self-discovery is to me.
Right. So I think it's a good time to also, say a little bit. Do you know what's funny? When I was preparing for this video, I just wrote out prompts. When they say, prepare for something, get ready and all of that, one would think that, maybe I should go carry out some research. And I said that I didn't say it literally, but I was just like, okay, I have a guest. What I should really focus on doing is letting my guest speak. And so let me just, write out some prompts for her. Well, it didn't take so much time to write out the prompts either, right? And this is me here now thinking, what's self-discovery to me? And I'm just like, I'm a fin of blank right now because I prepared for my guest only. But I remember when I was in secondary school and they used to do some kind of impromptu speech for us, like on the assembly ground. They'll just say impromptu speech. They started it randomly and they had to keep up with it. And those times I just used to really wish that they would just call me for the impromptu speech, because I'm like, I feel like I have some things to say. Even if I was never prepared for this topic, right? I should be able to say something about
that they will call you
for real.
And in front of the entire school.
That was not the point. It was not for the O-levels. It was rather because I wanted to just share my opinion. I feel like that's one of the hints that God has been showing me that your opinion is going to exist
in front of the entire school.
In front of the entire school.
Crazy.
Right, but they never called me. They never called me to do impromptu speech. It was crazy, but it's nice. So I feel like that's you know, desires should play out there, right? I should be able to say something about self-discovery. When I think about it, it's as the name implies, right? To discover oneself, like she was saying, it's just really saying, oh, I've been here for a while, oh, who am I really, like, who is Ogo? Like, based off of the different, I think I'll just build up on what she said, right? Based upon the different circumstances that have surrounded you as a human being, there is your family background, there is your personality, there is the things that you get from your parents. I mean, you say that, oh, I inherited this bad behavior from my, that's how we are in our family. There is that, and there is the surrounding circumstances of, going to boarding school, being around rich fellas, going to certain environments or growing up in certain environments, and eventually, that want to shape you to being some kind of person. But self-discovery is now saying that, remove all of these other excesses, or who am I as a person, as an individual, like remove the excesses, cut all of those things, what's remaining, that's self-discovery. So that's pretty much it. The next prompt would be, what's your personal journey or your personal experience to discovering Feyi? Or how much would you say, oh, I don't know that maybe you won't say certainly that, oh, I've discovered myself to fullest. If you have, that's obviously great, but what would you say the journey has been for you over a period of time?
So, first of all, the the point that people say self-discovery is a journey,
Yeah.
means that there is no point that you reach in your life that you'll be like, I have discovered who I am, because after that time there is still
More,
something
yeah.
for you to discover. The only point that you can actually say, okay, I've discovered myself, maybe like when you know that you're about to die. When you know that you're about to die, you're like, you know what? I actually feel like I might die today,
Yeah.
this is who that I have discovered that I am.
Yeah.
But you asked about my process,
Yes.
my self-discovery.
The experience of yeah.
Man, I don't even know where to start from. I don't know how to make it short or explain it basically. But I think I started my actual self-discovery process a couple years ago, to be very honest. Before I came into the understanding that I might actually be an individual outside of every other thing, outside of the way my parents brought me up, outside of the way I was raised in church, outside of the way my community has raised me, I might actually be an individual. And that journey didn't start for me till, I don't know, I think maybe in the later parts of university, or maybe the earlier parts of university. So, nobody asked me for this information.
Carry on.
I was first, before I started to school in Bells University, I was first in Unilag.
Yeah.
And I thought, I was going to be a Unilag girl. I mean, there's a way Unilag people are, but I mean, that wasn't even necessarily what I was in pursuit of. I just wanted to go to Unilag because my sister went to Unilag. So I was like, I mean, it's a family thing. I thought I was going to go to Unilag. But then I remember when I had to leave Unilag and I came to Bells, and it felt like I became a new person.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to explain it, but I mean, Bells is a private university. So anytime I tell people that, oh, I'm attending Bells University, they'll be like, oh, private school. I'm like, it's just a school now. I don't understand what you're trying to talk about. Like, it's just a school.
Yeah.
But they just made it seem like, oh, you're a private school girl, you're a private school girl. And I was so confused as to, like, what exactly is going on. And then other things happened when I got into Bells. I started to take my Christian or religious journey more seriously before, when I got into Bells. Before then, I mean, we've all been Christians all our life. I mean, I was born into a Christian family. Like, my mom is a Christian, my dad is a Christian, but I don't even think I don't think I felt anything in terms of being a Christian, and it's so crazy because I was very religious. I was very religious when I was younger. I was in the choir. I was the one interpreting for our Yoruba pastor, interpreting to English. Like, I was very religious. We used to have vigils. I was in church in the midnight, in the morning, afternoon. We used to fast. Oh my goodness, I fasted white like 3 days. You won't eat anything.
Are you serious?
And you come to church, when you be singing, like I used to be really, really religious, but it wasn't until I got into Bells, and I remember when we were graduating, and I was so emotional for some reason when we were graduating, because I felt like I can't believe that I came to Bells. It was never in my plans to ever come to Bells for a lot of reasons. One, it's at the back of my house.
Right.
It's at the back of my house. So I didn't have any plans to come to a school that I'm still going to be very close to my family. My plan was you go to school where they need to beg you to come home. Like they need to beg you that please come home. But I went to a school where all it takes is to enter, I don't know, max 700, you're already in your house. And so it wasn't in my plans at all. But when I was graduating, I just thought about how, like, it felt like Bells was such a gift to me, even though they showed me shaggy. Even though they showed me shaggy, but it really felt like the school was such a blessing to me because I learned so many things about myself. Bringing like the Christian work aside, there's so many other things. I learned how to relate with people. I learned how to build friendships. I mean I learned how to build friendships. I never thought that I was a friend person because I'm jovial with people and I mix with people well. But in terms of having friends where you're like, oh my goodness, I love you guys so much. I don't think I've ever experienced that until I went to university and I met really good people. And
Right.
you only have to love them because at this point, if you don't love these people, it's like, what exactly is this? So I would say my journey has been constant, but it started maybe a few years after I got into Bells, and ever since then I've been on this journey. It's very, very interesting journey. Very, very interesting journey. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. This is me. You know what's funny? Now that everything is unfolding, now that the conversation has started, it's just a normal conversation that is pretty beautiful. I feel like the journey is something, worth, sharing. Just a normal conversation, right? And I believe it's definitely obvious that everybody has a journey. You cannot not have a self-discovery journey, right?
Yeah.
So it's just that for everybody it's different, even though some people have similar journeys, right? So for me, it's not. I don't think I want to spend so much time talking about my own journey, but like she said, in Bells was when a lot of things happened. Although starting from when I was small, I have a couple of siblings. I say couple as if we are 12.
Are you not?
So I have 6 siblings. That's how, right? And because my house is pretty full. Even though there are people that have more siblings, that their house is actually 12 siblings.
Yeah.
My house is pretty full, and because of that, different personalities, different behaviors. Even though we have the same parents, we still have different siblings acting differently. That kind of still shapes so many things. So even though you're under the same roof, the same atmosphere, everybody still gets different results in the end. Our journeys are, it's still different, right? We eventually went to different schools. At least I was the only one that went to Bells out of my siblings. It's so crazy, but I'm the only one. No, it just happened. Oh, the school they went to, they don't have my course.
Okay.
And then the other school, this one is God that worked it out because even myself, I don't understand what happened, right? But for me, I really, really think also that self-discovery maybe did not start for me in Bells University, but it intensified because like there is a way you you could get to a point of just knowing for starters, but like it got deeper. There was some kind of deeper awareness. I wasn't just acting randomly. There was some place of consciousness of, oh, this is what you're doing. It's not like I figured it out. Like I like that she said that you never really get to a point of, oh, I've reached my final destination. I now know myself. Because in knowing yourself, there still gets to a point where you're still like, oh, I just found this out about myself recently. I found out that I actually really love doing this thing. I found out that I picked up some interest in this recently, and it's just so crazy to me. But one of the most important aspects of my self-discovery will be my spiritual walk with God, because that one definitely intensified in Bells. Like she said, I was a religious girl. Like, in fact, if you want to, look at children from primary school, secondary school, I almost you almost say that, oh, I almost did not have any stain, so to say, right? Because I did not do the usual things. Let me not count that. Not do the usual things, right? And getting to university, I just realized that there is you knowing that, oh, I was born into a Christian family, and there is you knowing and building a relationship with God for yourself. And I believe that building my relationship with God is a very, very huge and important part of my self-discovery, because in one of my videos, I just spoke about, discovery, and direction. God has a plan for our lives, every one of us, and when you discover the plan that he has for your life, all you need to do is start working in it. So I feel like if you're not, if because I'm a Christian girl, right, and I have my faith rooted in this, I strongly believe that if you've not discovered what God has for you, then self-discovery is you're still far away from it because you could be discovering some other plan for all we care, right? And God is like, bro, that's not it. You're just that's not it. Like you're just walking away. You're discovering something entirely different. So for me, I feel like the journey maybe intensified the moment I realized that my work with God is not. It's not just not doing the things that people say is wrong. It's really not knowing that there is a God you're supposed to be building a relationship with and not building it with Him, right? So I was even literally asking God a particular time that when I can say that I do not have the experience of saying that, oh, when I was in secondary school, I used to, oh, I want to say I had a boyfriend, but because boyfriend is not necessarily a bad thing, but it used to be a big deal now.
Sure.
It
was a bad in secondary school. Oh my goodness, it was a bad in secondary school. When my secondary school, I'm sorry to all of you if you watch this. When my secondary school mates were doing when they were dating, please.
It was okay.
You
It's
guys
true.
were
It's true.
too
It's true.
young, you know,
It's true.
all of that.
And if I had a younger sister in secondary school that is in a relationship, I would beat her because I'm just like, come on, comport yourself. What's
like,
wrong with you?
please. Secondary school love is very unserious. Like, I'm sorry.
Unnecessary
to
stuff.
anybody who, I don't know, there might be people who
A lot of them, yeah.
entered into serious relationships from secondary school. But in secondary school, you guys are just, honestly, you guys are doing it for fun. I'll be very, very honest. I mean,
right?
I'm not judging, but what people were doing in secondary school is crazy. Crazy. And how old were we?
How old?
Even now, if you are doing all those things now, I'm still going to be like, okay. Not to have to go little children.
13, 14, 15.
Please.
Anywho, I was in a relationship in secondary school. I had friends, but like I did not have so many to say that, oh, we are going to this place, and we went to this place, not let my mommy know. We did this one, all those things. I did not do it. When people come back and say that, oh, when I was in secondary school, I regret some things. I can't. I think I can say it's a privilege, right? But I did not have those experiences. I said I was going to make a video about this
girl.
Thank you. That's it.
A good girl.
That's pretty much it. I was a good girl, so to say, right? And I just feel like I wanted to say it was later in my life. It was not even until this month that I realized that it was actually God preserving me because there are certain desires that I don't even have. My brother literally asked me, "Oh, are you normal?" The fact that I did not. They said that, oh, you don't like anybody, you're not attracted. I'm just like, no, it's not like that. Like when I see somebody that is fine and looking good, I acknowledge that this is a fine young man. But to say that, oh, I didn't want to be in a relationship, my brother had to ask me, are you sure you're normal? It was not until this month, earlier this month that
school.
Yes.
He had to ask you.
Yes, so he asked me secondary school because are you not working? Are you not functioning like every other person? And I'm like, I'm normal. It's just what it is. And I realized that, it was actually God preserving me because if those things were acting, I mean, when I think about it, I can easily say that, why would you do such a thing? Why would you do that? But I realized that the reason why I can say it is because I didn't do them for myself, right? And I realized that the reason why I didn't do those things because it just wasn't there. So it dawned or clicked that it was God that actually preserved me from those things. Because if those things I was feeling like doing whatever, everything, then maybe I will not be able to say that. Why would you do that? God preserved me all the while, right? And so when I realized that getting to know God for myself, I started by saying that when I asked God that question, right? And God just made me realize that beyond doing the seemingly wrong things, being in a state of ignorance is also you just doing bad things, right? The fact that you're not doing what you're supposed to do is also not doing the right thing. So it's not just about saying that, oh, I did not do these things, I did not do that. And so I realized this when I entered university. It was when I was already like my 300 level that I decided to, even though I did not do bad things before, that I actually started taking my work with God seriously. And that, I believe that's like a deeper and a very is a point of my self-discovery that I cannot remove. I cannot plug that out because even from when I was in secondary school, there was some kind of self-awareness that made me to do certain things and not do certain things, that made me to relate to some certain people and not. But like until I found God and started getting to know God and started relating with God, my self-discovery did not deepen, right? So that's pretty much it for me, right? So do you have any unpopular opinion about self-discovery?
Unpopular opinion. Okay, I think the only unpopular opinion that I might have concerning self-discovery would be the process that people undergo when they want to go on a self-discovery journey.
Yeah.
So you see people do really interesting things. Like if you go on the internet now, if you go on TikTok or you go on Instagram or you go on Twitter anywhere and you just type self-discovery, there's so many videos, so many posts that you find of people telling you exactly what to do. They tell you, go and do this, go and do this, how you discover yourself. You need to lock yourself in the room for 3 days and beg. You need to figure out who you are. And I'm just like, okay, but can we calm down? Like, what people don't seem to understand is that it's very personal. It's very, very personal.
Right.
You can't follow, and this isn't even a self-discovery opinion. It's an opinion for everything, life in general. I was watching this video the other day on Instagram where they asked the woman what she felt was one of her biggest life mistakes when she was growing up, and she said the biggest mistake she made was looking for answers, like asking people for answers, asking people, oh my goodness, like how do I do this, like I'm trying to figure this out, how do I do this? And all she could have actually done was just like figure it out, like just find, like,
journey,
go on the journey like everybody else,
yes,
and find out what actually would work for you. And that's what people do is with the self-discovery process. They've told you that, okay, what you need to best do is you need to go and get a journal. So you go to the supermarket, you got my one black freaking journal, and you're like, oh my god, I need to start writing every day. Then you find out that 5 days into writing, you don't have anything to say anymore. Because like because you don't walk like that. That's not how you walk.
Yeah.
Or people tell you, oh, you need to go on a walk every morning. And then when you went on a walk, they stole your bag because you were on a walk. Like, you don't have to do what everybody's asking you to do.
Right.
You do all of this. They tell you, okay, do this, do that, do that. And you're like, oh my god, what I have to do. But the thing is that with self-discovery, like I said, it's very personal. But the one thing that I feel like brings everything together, brings everything that people have told you to do, things that you've seen on the internet, is the fact that self-discovery in and itself is you, how will I say this? It's like self-inquiry. Is you actually questioning, you are checking everything about yourself. You are checking, okay, I was told that I should not do this when I was growing up. Is that like actually how I feel, or is that just how it is in life? Am I really going to accept this? It's also you questioning the values, the what else, the opinions, the standards that people have put on you. And I'm just like, the other day I think I made was it a podcast episode or a piece? I don't know. There was a day that I was just thinking about how crazy it is that you get to a point in your adult life, or maybe your teen life, I don't know, you just get to a place in your life where you're like, all of these things that are making me who I am now, like I don't think any of them are original. I don't think any of these are okay. We grew up in our family, we never ate fish, but then I went to eat in a restaurant and I really liked fish and I'm like, okay, what exactly, like all this while they've never had, you know, I was starving to you just have to get to a point where you're like, okay, so I would say, first of all, if you want to start a self-discovery journey for yourself, you need to personally get to a point where you're not frustrated, but you're just really questioning, like, is this really who I am? Like, is this really, am I really going to take all of these things that people have said? Am I really going to take it to be who I am? Am I really going to take it to be how my life is supposed to pan out? And from there, you start to create by yourself. You're going to start questioning and then realigning yourself to values and opinions and standards that you feel like would match your life, or you feel like actually do match your life. So I feel like that people really don't get it. They really don't get, you don't have to follow what people are doing. Most of the time people don't even have sense.
Not everybody does, to be very fair.
Honestly, like, I think about this sometimes. You know that people don't I don't want to insult, I don't want to sound like a very, like, oh my god, I feel that you're saying, but one thing that I've actually realized in life is people don't have sense. Honestly, like, and it's not in a way to insult, it's just in a way that people cannot understand what you know. People cannot understand what you are feeling, what you are going through,
Yeah.
your opinions, everything. People cannot. People cannot. I've been away from social media for a very long time because I just noticed that social media wanted to kill me. Like I could not absorb all of that information at once. I went away from social media for a very long time, and I came back recently. But even the came back, it's only I downloaded Twitter because I wanted to start doing career moves. Even the career moves, I've not done any one. But Twitter was one of the applications that I hated the most because Twitter is very opinionated. People are always talking, people are always saying things, and it just got to a point where I was like, okay, but can we just take a day where everybody just shuts up? Like nobody just talks.
Is it possible?
Can we do that? So I had to leave Twitter, but I came back on Twitter because I wanted to do career moves that I've not started anyway. But one thing that I've noticed on Twitter is that one thing people don't understand about Twitter is that it's like somebody is expressing themselves in their own words, their own life. Then they put it there, but because of that's not how you feel, you attack it, you take it, and before you know it, it's not it has not this big thing where everybody is like saying, oh, this and that and that. But at the end of the day, it's like you need to first understand that that's how that person feels.
Yes.
And it doesn't affect you in any way. Like it doesn't affect you. I have said that when I start tweets, because I've not made any tweets on the Twitter that I just because I opened a new account. I haven't started tweeting because I'm like, yo, I don't really have anything to say. But if I'm going to start tweeting, I would, if I see somebody post something, even if I want to talk about that thing, I'm never going to quote your tweets. I'll screenshot and I'll post that picture and talk. Because the thing is that it's not your problem, it's not your life, it's not your opinion. You have nothing to say about that. Even if you want to have something to say, it should never be in opposition to what that person has said. Say your own, let everybody say their own, let everybody move on.
That's fine.
Like let's just say your talk your talk and let everybody just move on. That's simple. That's how it's supposed to be. But it's weird that that's not how it is on Twitter. But anyway, that's it actually. In the self-discovery process, nobody has the roadmap or the pattern to what you should do.
Right.
Figure it out yourself. You'll be okay. Just figure it out, honestly.
Thank you very much. I think it just reminds me or highlights in my head that it is self-discovery for a reason. Like there's a lot of looking inwards and looking outwards. So if you're looking outwards more then you're still going back to the whole being affected by, you're still defining yourself based off of the outward, the opinions, the experiences, the exposure. So in as much as those things kind of like make up a person, your experiences one way or another make up what is in front one way or another, except you decide to come off it. And that's what is necessary, that you come off some of them and really just pick which of them is good, like really just reshape everything. But there's a lot of looking inwards more than looking outwards, because you're going to be doing wrong self-discovery if you're looking more outwards. While it's necessary for you to reach out to some people to ask for help, like you said, not everybody has sense, right? So there has to be specific people that you reach out to. It could be your parents, it could be your pastor, it could be somebody that you just really know, have you studied and you know that this person to an extent, and you're not going to be asking them for direct things. Yeah. For real, it's a journey for a reason. You need to get through it, you need to go through it, and some of the things that happen in the journey could really be some of the conversations you have with somebody. There's sometimes it's just a realization that dawns on you. Sometimes it's really something that you experience for yourself that makes you realize that funny thing is always a realization. You just realize that, oh, I really don't like this thing. Oh, I really love doing this thing. It's just situation and circumstance that has made me see or feel like it's not how I want to do things. In self-discovery, nobody really dictates what you've discovered. It's you now. It's you, right? So discover your identity. It's important. What I wanted us to wrap up with is really just any relevance of self-discovery, right? What do you think is like a reason why it is absolutely necessary? Why should I not just go on with what's available? Why should I, find out? And then if there's any special thing you want to say before we wrap up. So yeah.
Okay, so the reason why self-discovery is so important is because I've noticed that right now we're in a time, this in humanity or whatever, we're in a time where it seems like people are losing the essence of being individuals.
Right.
Like nobody is an individual person. We say like, oh, you're an individual, but it seems as though nobody out there is actually an individual. You notice that there's so many things affecting who you are. There's so many things affecting how you think. There's so many things that are affecting even the actions that you do. And it just gets to a point where you're like, okay, if you enter into a room and everybody has been conformed to act a certain way, everybody has been conformed to say certain things, you just find out that there's no originality.
Yeah, no
And it can be very harmful because
Yeah.
what if the thing that they've told all of you to believe is very harmful? And they tell all of you that when you go on the road, you should always be slapping people. And before you know it, that everybody in Otta is slapping a random person on the road.
You don't know why.
It's important because it encourages individuality. It encourages originality. When you notice that, okay, you speak to this person and you're just hearing things that you've never heard before because those things are very peculiar to that particular person. So that has to be the one thing that it's amazing for me in terms of self-discovery, actually going on that journey to understand who you actually are, the things you actually like, the things that you find the most interesting. It's not about, okay, in our family we do this, we do that. You what do you like now? Like, what exactly
do
your
like? Family say about you?
Like, what do you even like? What do you every morning you have please, I can't even it's a very long discussion because it gets to a point where you just start to think. And I mean, the moment that I made that post where I was like, there are so many things that are conditional as a human being. It was I remember that time. My eyes just opened. So I gave context. I gave context to what brought up that notion. I grew up in Christ Apostolic Church all my life, up until I started attending Bells, and I was going to the church over there because there was no Christ Apostolic Church fellowship.
Right.
And over there, things are very different. They're very different from the way they are in Christ Apostolic Church. You can wear trousers to church. You don't even have to tie your hair to church. The girls don't have to wear skirts that are, I mean, in as much as I understand where all of those opinions and notions are coming from in terms of like modesty and holiness, you get to the point where you just have to question why exactly they want us wearing skirts that is sweeping the floor. I mean, I get it. I actually do understand it and I respect it. But is this the only way for us to do things? Like, is this the only way that things are supposed to be done? And so I changed church. I started going to a new church after I graduated. And on one Sunday, the first Sunday I wanted to go to church, my mom noticed that I was wearing trousers. And I wasn't even wearing scarf. Like, I was very,
you seem like a rebellious child.
Like, I was very rebellious. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to a new church. You can't relate. And so I was wearing trousers. I wasn't even wearing a scarf. And I was heading to church. My mom just stopped me. I was like, where are you going to? So I'm going to church. You're wearing trousers, you're not wearing a scarf. And we went on and on about how, this was right, this was wrong, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. I went to church that day, and nothing happened. Nobody told me that I could not enter into the church auditorium because I was putting on trousers. Nobody told me that I could not sit down in church because I was not covering my hair. And it was so funny because weeks after, my auntie too came, and she had oh God. It was a very lengthy conversation. It was a very, very lengthy conversation. She was dragging how she can't believe that girls are not wearing trousers to church. Girls are not even covering their hair. You see them with their long wigs. So my auntie is very, very religious. Very, very religious. She's when you think about like SU, I think she doesn't watch this. Like, when you think about SU, like she's the new definition of what SU would look like. I mean, it translates to who she is basically because she's actually a very religious and holy person in general. But I was so confused as to the kind of issues that this woman had. Like, are you telling me that you have this concern that women are wearing trousers? That aside, she was also concerned that we're doing online services. She was like, it can never be. Nobody is going to church again. Everybody is sitting there in their house and doing church. Nobody is entering into the church auditorium. Which, like, it happens. That's what people are doing now. Not everybody can make physical meeting, but I get where you're driving at, and I understand it, I respect it. But at the same time, this is what I want to do. Like, this is how I want to make things. This is how I want to go to church. This is how I want to dress. I'm not dressing in modesty. I'm just putting on shokoto for crying out loud. It's just shokoto. Please, can we just calm down? And it's so crazy because even when I was going to CAC, I wear trousers on a normal day. Like, if I'm
just
at
not
home,
to church.
just not to church. So I'm like, okay, like, what is if my pastor sees me outside of church wearing trouser, he's not going to tell me, why are you wearing trouser? But the moment I'm about to enter into church, it's like, oh my god, you have to tie a wrapper. Like the ushers have wrappers. Like if
We have it down.
like they have wrappers. If you like, I mean, if you are new in the church and you want to come into church and wear trouser, they have wrapper that they will give you that you will tie. Like you need to just not wear trouser. So I'm just like, I mean, I understand it, but at the same time, it's like I can do this when I'm not in church. But the moment I'm coming into church, like I have to be this way.
Yeah.
Like why exactly? Why exactly? So it just gets to a point where you need to personally question all of the things that you've known to understand if you actually want to align with them, to understand if that is who you want to be. And if you accept them, good. Like if you accept the fact that you're not allowed to wear trousers, you're always supposed to wear skirts that are sweeping the floor. If it's your aesthetic, I mean,
Why not?
like carry on. Like actually, that is part of self-discovery. You're discovering that that's who you actually are. But for other people who notice that they want to express themselves in other ways, that's also who they are. Like that's the beauty of self-discovery. The point of just coming and just being an individual, just being an original person. That's basically what it is. Honestly.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I'm just reminded about this, that the fact that the world is full of so many people means that there should be lots of differences. There should be lots of individuality. We cannot be seeing the same of everybody everywhere. That's boring. That's not how God wanted it to be, right? God did not want the same of everybody, and that's why it's important to discover self, because God has different plans and purpose. The fact that we are always on social media, we are always, one place or another, looking at things that seem to be in vogue, right? Everybody might want to just, rush into what is in vogue, what is happening right now, as much as possible, because we are different people with individualities, with differences. As God has created us with different plans and purposes, we need to discover. That's why it's important for you to discover for yourself, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? What is my difference in this different world, right? As much as possible. Like you said, let people discover themselves. Let them. The fact that you realize that this is how you want to go about something doesn't mean this is how another person has to do it. But I feel like understanding makes the difference. If you understand why something is, that's why we need to ask questions. Question certain things. If you understand this is why this thing is like this, or this is why I'm doing something this way, then it cuts it. I feel like understanding makes the absolute difference. About this Christianity thing, let me tell you, it's another topic on its own. It's a different topic, because the more you talk about it, the more deeper you can get into many things that she has said. I don't know how many people want to say but it's a different topic.
I have this to say too.
She has the comeback because for real. But I really enjoyed this episode, and I really hope that you did too. So you guys should look forward and look out for the next episode. And hopefully I'm going to do another video with Feyi, but she's going for NYC very soon. I mean, I don't know when I'm going for NYC. But when next we see,
honestly, I don't really mean like if you told me tomorrow, I'm here.
That's it. So you guys should look forward. We're going to have another session. I don't know when it's going to be, but we're going to have another one. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. See you in the next one. By God's grace, you guys are going to love it. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about, but yes, love you with us. Have a lovely day. Bye. Thank you for watching. Bye.